Hi everyone and welcome to the ultimate MIDI tutorial with Unreal Engine part 2. Grab a cup of coffee because we're gonna do it step by step, the old way. Okay, so now this tutorial is also good if you want to understand MIDI with Unreal Engine. Yes, we are focusing on motion control, but overall I think this is a good example how we're going to use MIDI library in so many different ways that I really think this is a good tutorial. If you haven't watched the first part, go watch it. It's not a long video. We're talking about MIDI fundamentals basically. We have an overview of how the MIDI protocol works, also an overview of how the MIDI plugin for Unreal Engine works. We're going to go through the whole protocol, so I think you're going to learn a lot with this tutorial. And what it looks like, something that is used to summon, actually is just communication between all these protocols, and we're going to go one by one. This is just another tool on your toolbox. Okay, each one of these communication protocols is going to serve you a different purpose on a different project. Also, if you are an expert on camera and virtual production, I want you to stick to the end because I have some rewards, a bounty for anyone who actually can find things that I can't find. And I ask you because some people is good in one part of the Unreal Engine and other ones are good in another thing. So I got an idea to make a bounty. So I have 50 NFTs, 50 to anyone who can find things that I'm going to show you at the end. It doesn't have to be all of them. Each one of those solutions, 50 NFTs. I'm going to share everything I find, everything you send me, and at least everybody can learn and we don't get stuck like I got stuck in some of the things that I really need. So this is the blueprint that we're going to make. It might not be the same blueprint at the end, but in a sense, it's going to be the same. There's one thing that we need to do before we actually even start this project, and we need to change the settings here. One of the things that we didn't talk on the first part of the tutorial is how control change doesn't have only one way to do this. Let me show you this really quick. You see how smooth it is? There's one way to do this, and there's an infinite rotation here. Each manufacturer has a different name. One, they call it control change 1 and control change 2. Another one is called relative 1, relative 2. Yeah, they have different names. So the way this works, we're going to change the functionality of each of the keys. Not each of the keys, just the knobs, the control change. As you can see here at the end, you see how the values change from 63 or 60, 65. It goes in between 64 basically. Anything going more than 64 is a positive value. Anything going below 64 is a negative value. There is some acceleration here. If I go faster, you see how it goes 81, 92, right? But if I go slow, still goes one up, one down. So we're gonna use that MIDI trick to change the way MIDI sees our knobs, so we don't have that limit between 0 and 127, because the only thing you're doing is adding and subtracting a value. So this is what we do here. This on this macro. Okay, this macro specifically is gonna check if this is the specific type, the specific knob, and it's going to go in two different directions. One if it's more than 64, and the other one if it's less than 64. This macro is not taking in consideration acceleration. Okay, so basically it's taking click by click basically. I didn't want to overcomplicate it. I just wanted to make a simple blueprint. So in order to do that, we need to tell and we need to reprogram our controller to be on that setting. Okay, so each manufacturer is different, and in this case Arturia uses this software. The thing is, most of the manufacturers who work with these digital encoders, they have this functionality. It might be a good idea to check first before you buy any of this if you're going to be able to do it. I already told you this one works. All the Arturias on this series works. The Akai, the 128, you can change it. It has a software. It's really easy to change it. Another one, the Behringer. So let me do something that I usually don't do, which is I'm going to reset it and show you the way this comes from factory. There you go. That's the default. As you can see, it goes from 0 to 7F, which is 127. This is by default how it works, right? 0 to 127, pretty much like every other MIDI controller. So what we want to change, if we want to change this, for example, you change from absolute to, in this case, we're going to use relative 1. And let me show you relative 1 how it works. Less than 40 or 64 is the negative, more is the positive. So that's how we do it. We don't change anything else more than this setting right here, which is the relative part. The rest of the numbers, we're going to keep them. Let me show you how relative 2 works. It's similar. It goes from 0.1 to 127. It's the same thing, but on 2 extremes. These are the ID. We're going to keep it, but we're going to change everything to relative 1. Go to the store, and that's it. That's the only change that we're going to make. I just, let's double check is working. Yep. So now you have infinite rotation with this control change, and we're ready to roll. So now we can start with the new project basically, and start from there. Now I have this blueprint already. It's ready to go. I'd rather let you make it from the beginning. You know, this is open source. I want you to have it. I want you to play with it, and it might not work for you. If you want to start somewhere, you can download this from my GitHub. The link is going to be in the description, but it's also going to be here. There is a lot of documentation there. Also check the Discord server, really good conversations, and it's a nice place to hang out. I met really cool people over there that works on virtual production with Unreal Engine. It's cool, you know, anytime someone is available, you can ask questions if you want to. It's not a big Discord right now, but you know, it could be at one point. Great, so we are going to start a new project on field television and live events. We're gonna make a virtual production blueprint because you're gonna have everything that you actually need in the future. It's good to start with something that you already know, especially the settings. So we have virtual production, we do no starter pack, disable the ray tracing, create. Okay, so this is the default to settings. I'm going to go to plugins for MIDI. We're not going to use the remote control protocol yet. We're going to do that, but not yet. And we're going to restart. Okay, so by default, I'm not sure if this is going to be exactly the file, but it's going to be something like this. Take it out of the zip file, and this is going to be your blueprint. It's better to actually export the whole project. Is like a one gig or something like that. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna copy this. We're gonna go to your project where you have the new project that you just made. We're going to paste the blueprint and open the project. Okay, so this is up. I'm gonna just clean it up a little bit. Check it out. So you drop here. I know this is cheating, but we're gonna redo this, okay? But I just want you to show you how this is going to work. So you take this, and we're gonna do the changes that I'm telling you here what to do. Camera, we have to choose a camera. What camera we're gonna use? Probably gonna change this to front 80. Sun, we choose the suns here, here, and here. And that's pretty much it. Probably the focal length is the only thing, and that's it. I think that's it. It might not work for you. That is understandable, but I'm gonna show you how to fix it. And if it doesn't work, don't worry, because we are going to do everything again. Okay, this is the focus, but we're too far away. But don't worry, this is gonna work. Now you have it. Play with it. Do whatever you want, but I'm gonna delete it. And the reason is because I've loved to do everything again from scratch. So right click, blueprint, new actor. Okay, I'm gonna call it new, very original, MIDI. Obviously this is gonna be a blueprint, so open blueprint editor. Okay, and I usually do this. I go to, just to be more organized, I add a text here, reverse it, and I Just call it the same thing, MIDI tutorial. So let me go here to the event graph. I'm gonna get rid of this. Sometimes one of the reasons that blueprints with camera control doesn't work is because we don't call the camera. So we're going to get the player controller. So we're going to set view target. Yeah. So the target, we need to get the player. There you go. Got it. So you get the player. We're going to promote this to a variable. Get this. I'm going to set it. Hold on. So I come from the future. I'm come here to tell you that I forgot to connect this to this. You connect it. There's another thing that, gave me a lot of trouble. Now you can see here that it says cinema camera. Now when I set it up, I have no idea what. Usually when you do this, when you promote to a variable, it takes what kind of variable is, and for some reason it didn't. Let me show you again, so I show you what you're supposed to do. So you promote to a variable, you're gonna promote it, right? It's gonna come here where it says actor. Now during this tutorial for a long time it's gonna say actor. You have to change this to cine camera actor. Okay, this is the one you want, and it's gonna change all the variables on the blueprint, which in this case is gonna be only this, and you just say yes. So that's the change, but it has to be like this. When it comes to focus and other things, you need that. So see you later. Usually once I have my first comment, I start making proto code, which is, have an idea of what I want. Okay, so really fast we're gonna go through, get MIDI list. After that, set MIDI input. After that, we are going to set MIDI output, because we're going to do output too. After doing that, we are going to create MIDI events. We can go directly to the controllers, because now that we have the inputs, we can start doing things. On MIDI control change, if it's channel 1, okay, so we have this, and on top of that we want to get access to the pads, right? Instead of MIDI control change, on MIDI note on. Okay, we got it. Going back again. Once we get here, we actually gonna make another sequence. Okay, because all this is going to be in sequence 3. That's good. So we're gonna start doing it actually. So the first thing that you need to know is what MIDI devices are already connected. And a cool way to do this, so you don't have to actually trial and error, you do the find MIDI devices. So once you have this, you can do a for each loop. You want to connect the array. It's going to tell you all the information, what actually is going on. Grab all this, found MIDI device. It's going to give you all the information available. And once you have that, we're going to print it. And to make it easier for us, I'm going to put 120 is 2 minutes. And we're going to start appending all that information. Okay. Now, you don't have to put all the stuff. I'm gonna do it because I just want to show you what's going on here. That will do. Okay, so what's going on here? Device 0 is the Microsoft MIDI device. Device 1 is a Focusrite. Then we have this again on number 5. The only difference is going to be can receive from, which is true, and the number 5 can receive from, which is false. And the same thing for all of this, but the one we want is Arturia bit step number 3 for input, can receive from, which is true, so we want this one. And then we want the number 7 as output. Arturia bit step can send, true. Okay, so we want 3 and number 7. But in order to do that, we need to copy this name exactly the way it is. Okay, so how we do this? I'm gonna screen capture this just to remember. Okay, so we got that. I'm gonna copy this just the way it is. Okay, and I'm going to paste it over here. So the two things that we're going to compare is can receive from and the device name. Okay, this is string, so we're gonna string, okay, equal string and a boolean and we're gonna compare this and the other one, which is can receive, and the name here has to be exactly, is that right? And you see it's a capital, the B and S, so it has to be the same, exactly the same. So if this is true, that's where we're gonna save all this information. It has to be a branch. We don't need this. I just realized all this. That's way better. So if that happens, I guess I have to set a variable, a new variable, because we're gonna save that information. There you go. And the variable is going to be called everything the way it's actually device ID. And I'm going to print, let's see, append. And I'm going to connect it here because otherwise it's not going to work. And there you go. MIDI import Arturia device 3. Connect. And why I do this is basically one of the biggest problems when you're working with MIDI is sometimes you connect one, you disconnect the other one, sometimes you don't have the same amount of the MIDI devices, and it's a pain to connect and reconnect and try to figure out what MIDI ID it is. This is the long way, but I love it because I don't have to do anything else every time I connect. It's gonna connect with the device that I really want to work. So this is a monkey using the tools. What happened is we look for the MIDI devices that are connected to Unreal Engine. This is gonna help us at the beginning, and I'm gonna leave it here. Once we find the MIDI device, we connect it and we get the MIDI device ID input that we're gonna use later. Okay, so we have the input. Let's set up the output. So how we set up the output, guess what? It's the same. There's only one difference, and the difference can receive. We're not going to use can receive, so we're going to use can send. The name is going to be the same. This is going to be the same, and don't make this mistake. We need a new variable. Delete this. Promote the variable. We're doing the same, and MIDI device output. And I think, boom, we're good. So now I have only one. And why I have only one? Because the 7 is not connecting. And let's see what's going on here. Oh, didn't connect this. Never mind. It was working, it just wasn't printing. Okay, there you go. This is how you connect MIDI. Know if it's an input or output. You grab the device ID, and once you have that, you're ready for the next step, creating events. And those events are probably the most important part of this blueprint. Now, like I said, there are many ways to grab events. One of the ways that I showed you the other day is we can create, if we create a MIDI device controller, this is going to grab everything. We grab the input, okay, so we have this, the value here, yep, we need that for layer 2, so we're going to promote this variable 2, and as you see, it's a MIDI device controller. I'm going to put the input at the beginning because we're also going to have the output. The device input information, and the other one is the ID. The ID is just the number. In this case, it's going to be 3. But this is more information that you need for the rest of the blueprint. Couldn't do it from here, but I can do it from here. Okay, that's good. So we got this. The thing with this is the only way to grab all the information that you send through MIDI. We're not going to use it, but I want to show you the information that we have. And nope, because maybe I didn't even connect it to what it's supposed to be, because it's connected before. That makes sense. I did it all along wrong. It was here. Sorry for that. There you go. It says hello because I didn't connect it either way to the print function, to the print string. Sorry for the mix-up, and here we go. All the controls, control change, you can see here how it goes to 63 and 65, right? And how I press the buttons and all the pressure information. Got 0 to 127 here with this one, goes all the way. Even things that it never shows up with the other events, I can grab that information too. That's the only reason I want to show you this way to grab MIDI, because I can show you that I can grab pretty much everything, even system exclusive messages. So it's pretty much playing everything that it's sending. Actually, it's sending all the information. Although today we're going to use only 2 things, which is control change and note on. This one is telling you pretty much all the functions of MIDI without having to create one by one. I'm going to show you also how to do it the regular way, and we're going to disconnect this. Okay, it's going to be here waiting for you to play. Okay, but now we're going to create the other one, which is similar but it's not the same, and we are going to create all the events. We're going to use only 2, but I'll show you how to make it in case that you want to play with some of them in a different way that I'm not doing it here, but you know. So yes, we are going to create an event, create MIDI input controller, and the difference between this input controller and the other input controller, I'm gonna grab from here the variable ID. By the way, we can start organizing right now because this is gonna get really messy. So I'm gonna call it MIDI, and this is gonna be MIDI too, and I'm gonna kill it MIDI and MIDI. Okay, now we got organized here. Okay, so I'm gonna promote to a variable too. Hey, I'm coming from the future again. You know, in this case, I was editing all this, and there is one thing that I forgot. It's not a mistake. I just forgot to explain what is the simplest way to grab the MIDI. We're gonna go to the bare bones explanation. So even this is not necessary to do, and we do this because it takes a lot of trial and error to figure out what MIDI device do you have. Technically, you can even skip all this, set MIDI device input. Let's say we don't search specifically for the device. And when we get to the next part, which is the MIDI device input controller, you just do this and you put your device. In this case, it's going to be, now it's 2. It used to be 3 because I disconnect the other one. So you see, that's the problem. That, yeah, you disconnect one device and you put 3 here and it's not going to work. So it used to be 3. Now it's going to be 2. And now it's going to connect. And you don't need this, but you have to do it by hand every time. Restart Unreal Engine. That's why I'm doing this. So I look for the device number and we do it automatically every time. Now, if you don't want to do all this, you should just change this number here and you're good to go. So yeah, technically you're not gonna need all this, but it gets easier. So that's why I'm showing you how to do it. Okay, Marty, let's go back to the past. And now we're gonna start binding events. Note on create event, not custom, create event. And once you create the event, you're going to make a matching event. And it's gonna take you to the end of your blueprint on the X and Y. So be careful where you have the last thing. It's gonna go to the end. Okay, you're not gonna find this. So the only way to find it is actually zoom out. And that's why the blueprint zoom out. It's a long name, but MIDI event input node. Okay. There you go. You see? It's disconnected, we're reconnected. So we're good. And now you have this wireless event. And basically we're gonna put it here. Okay, but for now we're gonna leave it here. And I want all this information. So I want to copy, I want to create variables for each one. This is the best way to document a project. Prefix are one of them. Got long names, but at least you know what's going on. And now every time that I need the variables, I don't have to make a web of connections. I already have it at the tip of my finger all the time. That's why you do this. Print string do this, do, and print. It's not gonna be the same, but only going to play notes. So that's the note on. You have to create a MIDI device input controller in order to create all these events. You're going to return this device input controller ID, and that's how you're gonna use these events. The target is the ID, so every time you target a MIDI node on, is going to jump to this event that's going to be wireless. So once we got this, okay, we can boom, put it here. I want to be cleaner or not, that depends. I can show you different ways to do this later, but right now I want you to see what the heck is going on here. But I don't want to clean that much because otherwise you're not gonna know what the heck is going on. We're documenting everything. And now we're going to create bind event to on MIDI control change. That's the other one. We're going to do the same thing. Target, or we grab it from here. We grab it from here. Okay. So I create an event, and we'll create a matching event. Boom. Okay. And we put it over here. Change. Okay, so we keep promoting So those are the one we're gonna use right now, but I'm going to build the other ones, but we're not gonna use it on this project, so I just gonna show you exactly the same. And first, if we want to be organized, I love to be organized. Going to grab this, right click, and I'm gonna make a macro. Boom. We just make sure everything match. Yes. When you go inside the macro, just do the same thing. Make sure they match. So we do the same thing, create, and we're gonna send it here. Or we could just move all this. I should have done it before too. And I'm gonna build this for you, and I'm gonna speed it up so you don't waste your time. The only one that's gonna work actually, yeah, obviously this is not gonna work. This is the only one, you see, which is the note off and the expression, which is the aftertouch. So it's always gonna do some. So the two that I have is gonna work. The other ones are not gonna work. I can do many changes here, but no, it's not gonna change anything other than this, right? So these are all the possible ways that you can actually send MIDI commands. Again, this is doing all the work for you and is separating each one of the events. That helps a lot. Now the other one, it gives you pretty much everything. You actually have more access through this function, but for a good reason. Most of the people is going to use this. Now for the output, let me show you the few options that we have. For the output, you have output controller. Okay, here's below, you barely can see it, so we're gonna plug it there. That's what you want. Now the output is different, but the output, it's something that we're going to use in a different project. We're not going to use it in this one. Let's say this is like the input tutorial. You can send a note off, channel 0. Can do this. We have the control change. Let me really fast show you that. Boom, it's working here. Boom, it's working here, right? And now we are going to set all these events. We're gonna set it up over here. And the first thing we're gonna check if this is the channel that we're in. This is on channel 1. I can change channel 3. And if I change, okay, let's show you that if I change here, look at this, I'm on channel 3. So in order to get this information, you need to be on channel 3. Change to channel 1, I'm on channel 1. So that's the first thing that you need to check. You're on the right channel. Once you check on the right channel, you go through all the knobs, and each knob is going to do something. And save with the notes, which is this. Let's do this. All the information that we grab here is what we're going to compare to. In this case, we need the CC input channel. I know you can't see it here, so I'm going to grab this. I'm going to get that integer. So I need int equal integer, and in this case it's going to be channel 1. So basically it's this channel 1 branch, and if it's true, coming from here, if it's true, so we go there. Okay, so now we're going to start making the knobs, which is probably the most important part of this blueprint. The first thing that we grab is already the channel input, and now we need the knobs. So what we're going to do here, we're going to grab the knob information, split it in two ways. One, the knobs goes with negative values, and the second one is when you go on positive values. So how we do this? So we already have the channel. We don't know the type, which is going to be the knob number. So at this point, you should know, you should have a map of your MIDI device, right? So the one on the top is 10, then we have 74. So how this works is pretty much similar like we did here. Okay, so actually we can actually copy this too. Put it here, this is 10. And if it's true, the other thing that I need to know is, let me make another branch. And so we know that 64 is the middle, gonna be the middle of the values. And I need to know that in this case, this value is bigger than 40. If it's bigger than 40, this is going to be a positive value. I do two prints, I leave this out, and convert this into macro. I think macro is fine. I made a mistake. This should be inside. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Sorry for that. So we're gonna get rid of this. And so we go here, type. What type is it? That's what we do this. 10. Oh, okay. Now we do this and boom, there you go. And now we're gonna start doing 74. So by the way, it's only going to work on the positive. And if I go 10, if I go the other way, it doesn't work. 10, same for 74. Okay, so in order to do this part, we need to set up two things: location and rotation. And I'm gonna start to get actor location. I'm gonna split this. So we got X, Y, Z. The target, there you go. Okay, well, so we need the X, Y, Z as a function, right? Set the relative location. Set actor relative location. That's good. We're gonna split this. It's the same one, and we're going to teleport. Okay, so these are floats. So what I need is a float plus float. Okay, yeah, there you go. I'm going to promote this and get this. So that's the way it is. So I get it from one. There you go. And we do the same. So we're going to do it for X, Y, Z. Get actor rotation. It's the same story. Split. Set actor rotation. Need to split this values, and we are again new variables. Promote new variables. Let's get a print here. This is just for when you make the function. There's an output and input. I can return this with another print. I think that's good. So we got both. We leave this outside and we're gonna make a function. Collapse to a function. Good, 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 good. We got it. if I delete this, yeah, good, that's good. Okay, so what's gonna happen here is, I'm gonna keep it up here. So we have a new function we didn't name it yet. Oh my gosh, we didn't have to. This is a function. This is called camera. Okay, it's one of the most important functions that we have. Positive, and now the other one for negative. No, that's on false. And positive, we go here. On the negative, we go here. I think we should print. So we can do it here, actually. Let's do that. Okay, so I get the color and I get the text. The text is going to be here. Good. And you're gonna move left and move right. It should work. Yep. Move left, move right. We never set it. That's mistake number one. Second, we have to make this that you can edit this. So when you go here, boom, it's gonna appear here. Now you're gonna choose your camera, right, like this. Now if I move, it's gonna move. Otherwise it was impossible. And now we're having some feedback, right? Move. Oh, there flip. Right and left, right and left, right and left. Okay, it's working now. And guess what? We're gonna repeat this for each one of these. X value, we do it 5, reset this, -5, reset this to 0. Yeah, backwards and forward. Yeah. Let's see. Minus. Up and down. Up and down. Yep. This was. So I guess it's pan, but should we make, let's make a 5. -5. Oh, here. Okay, pan right, that's good. Pan left, okay. Should I do 2.5? Yeah, that's better. I mean, up and down, this is fine. Pitch is going to be tilt. And I think I'm gonna do the same amount. Okay, tilt up, that's good. Tilt down, that's good. And 2.5 actually is a lot. Even for this setting, they're supposed to be like a, I guess I do 1. Yeah, that's better. Tilt, tilt. Okay. Probably 2. -2. Here's the thing. It's supposed to be this way, but so the camera goes like this, like a clockwise, but the image goes the other way. So it's not intuitive. So when you say clockwise rotation, that means the image is rotating clockwise. Because when I do, for example, if I do panoramic, and I go to the right, rotation right, the image goes the other way, right? Like rotation right, and the image goes to the left. So that's sounds right. But when I do this kind of rotation, so the rotation is going clockwise, but my camera is going counterclockwise. I think it's okay. It's just this is the only one that it doesn't click on my head. I'll leave it like that, and it's gonna be up to you. To be honest, I think I did it right. So we got that. We have all 6. We just need a focal length. Get camera component. Yep. Okay. Get camera focal length. Focal length. That's good. That's what I want. Float plus float. Plus plus float. Okay, we do plus float. Oh, they've seen a camera. Jesus, why not looking at? Is that a target? Yep. This is a target. Right? Makes sense? Are you following? I know I make a mess. I think we're good. Okay, and it's going to be this. Oh, that's a lot. This it's plus, not multiply by. I was doing a multiplication instead of sum. Now it's working, so that's the focal length. We're going to promote to variable here. I'm going to leave it out. Okay, so we do a function here. It's important to be a function. Focal camera. We got it. This, I can't delete this new bar. It's not using it. And we have a negative. We can delete this. So plus it's gonna be 1, or I do the 5 here, and on the find page I do 1. There you go, 5. So now it's different because probably started with some odd number, but we're gonna do from the beginning. We're gonna set all the initial values, and then we're gonna change it. The last one, we're gonna set up the focus. Cine camera component. Should be a function. Target camera actor. Okay, that's good. So the target is going to be current. It should be this one. Get, and it should work. Yep. Okay. And the return is going to be this object. Is that right? And camera reference. Let's see what I find on focus. Get focus distance. Okay, that's what I want. Split plus float. This time get it right. Good. I need it out. Oh, what is it here? And I'm going to add this. Set focus. Set focus. Why have to set? Oh, get. Set focus settings. Split. Yes, this float. And it's a manual. That's good. Function. Let's make a function. F2 function focus camera. We'll leave it like this. I have to delete this new variable, and the positive I do 10, and the negative I do -10. Apertures, I do it like this. Focus settings 0.2. Okay. There you go. That's better. But yeah, I need to change the defaults, otherwise it's going to be a pain in the ass to get to that point. Focus is working. It's just go to Cine Camera Actor, and let's find a perfect location here. Get there. This is what I have to change. 390. I need to set up that so every time we go, we start the project, restart on that point. Get that. So we do this. We do this. And we're going to create this default. And the second thing that we need to check is that we're going to replicate the whole thing. Okay, so far we have the knobs, and the only part left is going to be the keys, the notes. So we already work on this. Again, it's going to be the same channel. We get this. Pad number 1, let's run it really fast. 44. It's 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. And 36 and so on. So 44 is equal 44 channel 1. So we're going to repeat this. It's going to match its channel node on input channel, node on input channel. So we get it here. That's good. Channel 1, that's what we want. We come from the print every time, and it's going to be true here. And pad 1 is going to be 44. Just confirm that this is working. 44. Yes, it's working. The idea with this key, let's make a simple one. We're going to reset all the values on left, right. Basically grab this information. We're gonna get all the defaults. That's way better. So we set the defaults. That's it. It's sorry, not read only. That's what I want. It's gonna be true. And then we're gonna go here, and then I'm going to set white, get actor location. I'm gonna get this too. The target is going to be the camera, current camera, right? Yep. Get X, Y, we're not gonna use it. See. Okay, let's see how it works. So we're here, right? And I decide to move here, and I push, and I went to the moon. Around here. Oh, target. I didn't get my target. I don't know why it's not asking me for the target. That was weird. Okay, we got it. Boom! You saw that? Boom! We got it. That's it. Okay, so I move, reset, 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 I move. I didn't reset this. Okay, there's another fix that I want to do. I saw it on editing, and after I did the project, we're gonna grab each one of these variables and we're gonna make it public, okay? When you do that, you are going to be able to change everything here if you want to set up different locations. Okay, so let's go back to the program. So we reset the movements. I don't want it to be so crazy tutorial, but I think we got the basics. The idea from here is we're gonna grab all this information and send it to the gimbal. Now the gimbal has a lot of things. It's not only this position, there's also feedback from the gimbal, help us to understand where the gimbal is, because gimbals are more complicated than that. Vibration, any movement, correct their movement. We need to take in consideration all that information to actually go where we want to go. So it's more complicated than just straightforward information like a CNC machine. It's not the case. Also, actually, CNC machines had feedback. So let's recapitulate what we did. So we get the camera position. The camera positions. Then we set the defaults. We just work a little bit more on this defaults. Let me just. Then we get the MIDI list. Once we got the MIDI list, we have visual confirmation of what we have connected. It's going to help us in the future. We're going to grab the same information and ask specifically for the device that we want. And once we have that device, we generate the MIDI input device. We save it here and we create the MIDI device input controller. We save that information. We're going to use this a lot. Then we do the node on and control change. Those are the two that we are using right now. We're not using this. but we set them up just so you have it, maybe you want to use it. Then we set up the MIDI output. We're not using it right now, but we are going to use it in the future. And the MIDI control change, we get all the variables from the event we printed, and we ask if it's a channel 1, and the rest of the blueprint that we didn't build is going to be the sun. Let's do how you change channels. So we're going to grab the channels and duplicate here. The only change that we're going to make is here, channel 2, and so on and so forth for different channels, right? If you want to do 3 and 4, that's exactly what you're going to do. But now you're going to notice something. There is no way of return. The change that we're going to make is, again, we're going to start making sequence. So now we can start doing different channels. So you start here. The second channel is going to be this. Same here. And we can go to the second channel. And so on and so forth. So the more channels you add, you have to add another pin to this and drop it here. On this device, let me show you really fast. On this device, you do channel and then you change, and you're already on channel 2. Different devices are different, you know, but you know when you press channel, you know where and what channel you are. So you're gonna get all these files on the interwebs. I'm going to grab another piece of this, which is gonna be the sun. I'm not gonna go through the sun. Everybody's seen that sun tutorial, so why I'm gonna waste your time? It's the same thing. The only difference that we use the different control change. It makes it 360 degrees, and I think it's better, but the solution is going to be there on the blueprint that you can download yourself. And the only thing that you have to do to make it work, I'm going to do this and delete this. So the only thing that you have to do, remember, you have to set the camera, then you have to set the sun to the sunlight, the sky to the BP sky, and the skylight. And I think that's it. Let's do 580 here, and I'll save it, let it play. I'm out of position right now. That's the problem. There you go. The only difference is, hold on, give me a second. There you go. You gotta press. We're gonna change channel. We're in channel 1 right now. I'm gonna change channel 2. Now we're on channel 2. Boom. We changed the sun. Okay. So that's the sun, and that's the fine pitch of the sun. Let's go the other way. And that's the fine pitch. Sun rotation. We do the sun rotation. Let's do it faster. Fun. There you go. And then you got the intensity. This is the intensity of the sun. Go. And yeah. That's pretty much it. Got the space. Okay, so I'm not sure you actually need a tutorial for this, because we have a lot of tutorials in this, but it's the same concept. Okay, so that's so far so good. We have what we actually want. There is one thing that I'm missing. So if you're able to actually make a new function here, and these are the rules, it can't be on the level blueprint. No, not on the level blueprint. Why is that? Because sometimes some elements can be grabbed from the level blueprint. The idea is to be independent. And I know it's possible to do it with the remote control MIDI with the new one. I know it's possible, but it's not the idea. And I mean, you can have that option. Let's get that option open to grab it, but I want to change the values. I don't want to use that shortcut because this is more complex, and I want to interact with the blueprints because I want to interact with the outside world. In order to do that, I actually need the blueprints, okay, not the remote control. This debug, I love this. I don't have a possible on MIDI, so I want to be able to do this with the MIDI Probably it's a limitation of this actual feature that you can't do it on runtime. That's probably a reason. So we already have a focus. The focal length, we're doing that. The camera aperture. I think the camera aperture is one of those that I can't grab it. You find it and you make it work with one of those, one of these options. Please give me a function or give me something working here. I think it has to be a function. Another one is, I need this. I know you can do it with the remote control or MIDI remote control. That's not the idea. Again, I leave it open. If you have this and you can do it, and I can actually make it functional with MIDI in runtime and actually grab those values, I leave it open. So if you find it, 50 NFTs. By the way, you have to agree that we're gonna share it to everyone, so everyone can use it, everyone can see it. I'm just putting the NFTs. Oh, ISOs. I want to be able to change the ISO. I couldn't change it with shutter speed. Yep, that's another thing. I want to be able to change the shutter speed with MIDI. Yes. Yeah. Those are the one I want. What else? Color grading. Yes. Temperature. This is exactly what I want. The temperature. Actually, this one. I want to be able to change this, and I couldn't grab it. I don't know why. Like, I can do it here, but there's a reward for this list. Each one of them, they have a 50 NFT reward. The first one who came up with each one of them, they're gonna get it. And this is for fun. I don't like technically. Look, this is for everyone, so I think it's a good reward. So this is the end of the part 2, and it's gonna be a part 3. In part 3, we're gonna talk about MIDI output. That is going to be a rabbit hole too. But our next episode, actually, we are going to start with this. We are going to start doing the S-Bus controller. We're gonna start having fun with this. But I needed to show you this, and I hope on the next episode you start connecting the dots. So yeah, so the next episode we're gonna start doing all this hacking, and I'm really waiting for your collaboration so we can start putting all this together. I have control of the focus, so that's not a big deal, but I want to be able to change other functions that I can actually send to the camera. It's just I can't find that specific function or whatever that is directly. DJI is really good. Also, Cision has direct communication with cameras. Some of them, not all of them. Same thing with DJI. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole. But if we are able to connect those blueprints, we're going to be able to actually send all the information to the camera. Okay, so that's what I want. You know what I found out? I found that I can grab my DJI Osmo and I can do the same thing. I know. So yeah, I guess once we finish this tutorial, we can just apply it to this. Anyway, again, the NFTs, it's a fun way to make it more interesting, but the NFT part, there's going to be a lot of utilities. I'm really working on the actual utility part of the NFTs, where you can actually do something with the NFT. Okay, so we're done. All the reminders: subscribe to the channel, of course. If you didn't at this point after watching all this, you need to subscribe. Come on, Discord server. Look, you're gonna love the Discord server. Maybe sometimes nobody talks. That's normal, but you can actually have a lot of private conversations. That's probably what people don't see. You have the connections right there. You can talk with anyone on the Discord server. So what else? That's it. See you next time.